Welcome back, viewers. When is a rectangle not a rectangle? When it's a square. And I'm going to show you how you can take a really simple rectangle design and turn it into a square and make a beautiful card with it. So for this today, we're going to be using some of my new line of dies. This is the Spanish collection, the set called Seville. It's got gorgeous detail on that. We're also going to be using the decorative frames from the Italian collection, and a beautiful faux quilled bloom die that I just adore. It makes such a pretty statement on a card. Along with that, I'm going to be showing you the embossing from the basket weave folder. This is one of the large A4 designs. And I've already actually done that for you so you can see it done up. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of detail. But since there's so much on this card, I thought I'll do a couple little steps ahead of time so that we can show you some other things, okay? First of all, I'm going to start with the very background. And I've just got a piece of white coconut card. I'm going to be using my Scotch double-sided tape, and I'm going to draw lines all the way around the edge here. So what you want to do is pull off pieces that are long enough to go from one edge to the other. And I like to stick it down on top of my craft mat and just give my finger a light rub over there so it makes contact. Another one. And let me just lean over a little so I can be sure to catch the very edge there. That looks like it will work. I'm going to turn that, and I'm going to do the other two sides. Right from edge to edge, and get it as close to that edge as you can. If you miss it a little bit, you can easily trim it afterwards. And this side. There we go. Give it a light rub to make contact. And then I'm going to peel it off the craft mat. And I'm going to take the scissors to the corners and trim away the excess. I like to do one side all the way around, turn it, and then go back and do the other side. I find that easier myself, but whatever method you use is fine. There we go. Let me get my little bits of extra tape off. Okay, now to give it a little extra bling, I've decided to use one of my favorite products. It's the Ice Snow from the Crystal Jewels collection in our Cosmic Shimmer line. So I'm just going to sprinkle these on and let them touch my double-sided tape around the edge. You can see that gorgeous, gorgeous bling coming along. And the other thing you can do is you can actually burnish it into the tape and take off a lot of the excess. So you're not wasting a lot of product there. Let's see, I should be able to tip that right back into my container. There we go. Set this to the side. So now let's assemble the back part of our card. I've got a little bit of mounting foam on here because I like the various dimensions to my cards. And I've already gone ahead and pierced around the edge to give it a really pretty frame. I'm going to pop that right in the center. And then on top of that, I'm going to put the basket weave embossed background that we've done. And then I'm going to show you the fun part. And that should just cover the edges so it looks like you've done the whole entire piece too, so it's kind of a nice little cheat. Okay, so now let's set that to the side for the moment. Let's go like that. And let me show you what I've done. I've already gone ahead and cut out of our custard card one of the Seville dies using the inner decorative piece and the outside cutting edge, okay? It's a beautiful, beautiful detailed die. So what I'm gonna do, if you don't like this, look away now. Just going to cut it right down the center like that. Okay, so I've got two pieces. I'm going to line them up edge to edge like this, and I'm going to bring in a little paper cutter, get them nice and straight, And if you can see, there's two little kind of a sort of rectangularly shaped areas right there. I'm going to line that up between them on my paper cutter and cut them both at the same time, trim off that extra bit. So now I've effectively turned it from a rectangle into a square shape, all right? So it's very easily done. Your pattern matches up beautifully. Now what I did was I did two of them that way, and I've got a bit of mounting foam on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble them, and I'll show you what you can do. So the first one is going to go on square like this, right in the middle of my card. And the second one is going to go on at an angle. So you'll have a really pretty design coming out of that. So what I want to do is cover that top join area. So I'm going to have it going this direction, have flowers across that. So when you do these sort of cards, you just have to think ahead to the design of your card and what you need to cover so it doesn't show that you've cut something. That looks pretty good, like that. I've got a sentiment here, so let's do a bit of cutting and inking, and we can get that into place. And for that, I'm going to use one of the smaller dies in the Italian collection decorative circles. Tape it into place with some removable tape. Let's get our cutting plates that we need. Let's see, there's my cutting plate, and there's my base plate. So I'm going to pop that right there. And I'll tell you what I think I'll do is just add a tiny bit of wax paper to that one, right underneath it. That'll help it release it a little bit easier. And let's pop that through. Now, I am going to do some inking, so I'll have to remove that wax paper first. And as long as you remember that, it's not a problem. And let's do some embossing and bring out the beauty in that one too. So I'll add my tan mat on top and my pink embossing plate. Sometimes dies just look so much better with the embossed, so it's worth the extra effort. There we go. Take that. Let me take this out. And like I said, we can just pop this little piece out of place. But you can see how easy that'll remove. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of mustard seed distress ink. And I want it to be very, very pale, so I probably won't even pick up very much. I'll just use the cut and dry foam that already has some yellow on it. See, it's actually very bright. You don't need a lot, so be very gentle. Lightly go around the edge. And you might not even think that you're seeing anything, but it's there. Just a light circular motion as I turn my die. Almost all the way around here. A few more circles. That should do it. Let's see, you can always add more ink if you need to, but it's harder to take it away. So I think that's just about perfect. You've got a really soft yellow to match your card on there. It's not too heavy. Put your die back into place, and let me add a tiny bit of mounting foam to the back of that. And then we're going to make sure we've got all our little bits popped out. I see one that's hiding right there. Okay, I'm going to put this into place. And that covers a good portion of that seam, but there's a little bit top and bottom here still. So what we're going to do is add some flowers. Now these faux quilled blooms are beautiful, and I want to show you how they work. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of those, and we'll assemble it. So I've got a piece of white card here. Let me get all my little bits off. I'm going to put a little bit of wax paper down because they're very detailed. And I'll tell you what, I'm even going to put a tiny bit of tape there just to make sure it holds into place. There we go. And let's run that through. Now I don't actually think these need to be embossed. They're very detailed, but there's not a lot left. When you see what I'm talking about, you'll know. I don't think I'd waste my time running them through the emboss process. That looks like it's cut beautifully. Let's just double check. And pop out the little pieces. There's that one. So you've got some cutout areas. You'll just have to pop away with a pokey tool. Just take you a second. And don't forget you've got wax paper on top of this too, so you've got that little piece to take away. And we'll do this one. I love the filigree nature to these. And this set has 20 different dies in it, so you can make a lot of flowers all at once, which is nice, especially if you want to do a cascading flower element on your card, which I've done. Okay, so now I've got my two little pieces here, and if you'll notice, I've got a left and a right facing slant on them. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue right in between the centerpiece right here, just a dot. And this one's still got a couple little pieces. There we go. Let's get those out of there. Okay. And just offset the top one so that your petals are showing from below. How easy is that? I'm going to add a little more glue because I love to put something in the center of these. I just think it's so pretty. And we will add an 8mm flat back pearl to the center. Glue that into place. So you've got a gorgeous flower there. You can actually just lift these up a little bit if you want to give it some dimension. Totally your call. So what we'll do is we'll add them to our card. Well, let's just use a few glue dots here, I think. Put one on the back here. Maybe put it right here. I've got a bunch of different sizes here, and I've also got a messy bow that I've tied ahead of time, and we'll seat that underneath the edge of the flower, just out of white seam binding. And let's just put a few more flowers to cover that seam. And cascade them up and around. Right to the edge there. And one in the center of that bow. I think that'll be perfect. Let's do that. Just kind of peeking out from underneath. There you go. So how quick and easy was that? I've taken a beautiful rectangle, I've made it into a square, I've doubled it, completely changed the shape of it, and all just with a few dies. So easy.